Ladies and gentlemen, you're likely wondering what could possibly make you stand out in such a crowded, competitive world. What is it that draws people, particularly men, toward you and keeps them there? What's the secret? Well, it's not about being perfect, not about being the loudest or the most attention-grabbing. It's about embodying something much deeper, something that doesn't need to shout for attention because it commands it naturally. Men will chase you forever, not because of what you do for them, but because of what you do for yourself. When you embody your own strength, value, and independence, you attract others who see the strength in you. You don't need to seek out validation. You simply become magnetic because you know your worth. This is about understanding your own value, stepping into your own power, and allowing that energy to pull others toward you without even trying. When we talk about the value of self-worth, what we're really diving into is the fundamental truth that no one will ever truly respect you unless you respect yourself first. It's a simple but profound concept. The problem is, too many people, particularly women, spend their entire lives seeking external validation, looking to others for a sense of identity, for a sense of value. And while it's natural to want to feel accepted, to feel appreciated, the only place you should derive that sense of worth from is within yourself. It doesn't come from how others see you. It doesn't come from the compliments they give you. It certainly doesn't come from seeking to fulfill their expectations of who you should be. It comes from looking into the mirror and saying, I know who I am, and I am worthy of everything I desire in life. The mistake so many make is thinking that their worth is contingent on the opinions and approval of others. This is not just limiting, it's dangerous. You can't build your life on a foundation that constantly shifts with the winds of other people's judgments. That's like constructing a house on shifting sands. No matter how much effort you put into it, sooner or later it will collapse because it has no real solid foundation. Instead, you need to build that foundation from within. And that starts with knowing that your worth doesn't come from external sources. It comes from your own internal compass, from your ability to look at your strengths and your weaknesses and say, I am enough, just as I am. Here's the thing. When you embody this self-respect, this self-worth, people start to treat you accordingly. They can feel it. When you walk into a room knowing that you have something valuable to offer, you carry yourself with a different energy. You no longer beg for attention, nor do you desperately search for validation. You simply exist in a way that commands respect. You don't need to tell people how valuable you are. They'll see it in the way you present yourself, in the way you interact with others. People are drawn to those who know their worth, because they can sense that there is no desperation behind it. There's no neediness, no lack of confidence. There's simply the knowledge that you're enough. What does this look like in practice? It means saying no when something doesn't align with your values or your vision. It means walking away from situations, relationships, or even careers that don't honor your value. It means speaking your truth even when it's uncomfortable, even when the people around you may not like it. Because fundamentally, when you respect yourself, you cannot tolerate disrespect from others. You will not bend, not for approval, not for fear, and certainly not for comfort. When you've grounded yourself in your own value, you realize that compromising that value is more painful than walking away from things that don't serve your highest good. Now, this doesn't mean you become arrogant or dismissive. It doesn't mean you isolate yourself from others or think you are better than anyone else. It means recognizing your worth without the need for comparison. It means being comfortable in your own skin, even when others don't understand you or when they try to diminish your value. You're not playing a game to prove something to anyone. You're simply showing up as who you truly are, authentic and secure in your own being. The importance of self-worth becomes even clearer when you consider the impact it has on your relationships. When you respect yourself, you set a standard for others. You create a boundary that says, this is who I am, and if you want to be a part of my life, you need to treat me accordingly. This is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Too often, people stay in relationships that drain them, that undermine their self-worth, simply because they don't believe they deserve better. This is a cycle that will continue until you break it. When you recognize your value, you no longer tolerate unhealthy relationships, manipulative behavior, or lack of respect. You don't settle for less than what you know you deserve. And when you start to act from that place, everything begins to shift. You will attract the people who align with your values, who see you for who you truly are, and who respect you for the boundaries you've set. At the core of this idea is a deeper truth. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. You can't expect anyone else to treat you well if you don't first treat yourself with kindness, respect, and care. When you truly understand your own worth, you will no longer place your happiness in the hands of others. You will no longer be reliant on their approval, their compliments, or their attention. You will realize that your worth is constant, not fluctuating based on someone else's opinion. And when you stop looking to others for validation, you free yourself from the need to please. You free yourself from playing the game of fitting into their expectations. You can simply be yourself, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. This journey is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about learning to stand in your own power and learning how to honor your own worth without apology. When you do this, when you step fully into your power, that's when the real magic happens. That's when you begin to see just how much you are capable of achieving. The world will begin to treat you the way you treat yourself, and the energy you put into your own life will attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances. It's the way it's meant to be. But it all starts with the knowledge that you are enough just as you are, and that no one can take that from you unless you let them. The world is full of people who are constantly seeking validation. We live in a society where the measure of success often depends on external indicators show others perceive us, how many followers we have, how much praise we receive. But this is a dangerous game to play because it puts our self-worth in the hands of others. This search for validation can make us prisoners of our own emotions, constantly chasing approval and constantly measuring our value based on the fleeting opinions of those around us. It is a cycle that, if unchecked, leads to self-doubt and resentment. And here's the truth. You will never find real peace in chasing the approval of others. You cannot rely on the perceptions of those around you to feel good about yourself. True self-worth comes from within, from an understanding that you are valuable because you exist, because you are constantly evolving, and because you are worthy of respect and love, whether or not the world sees that. The irony, however, is that when you stop chasing validation, when you stop looking outside yourself for confirmation of your worth, people start to notice. The reason for this is simple. Self-respect commands respect. When you stop searching for external affirmation and instead focus on building your own inner strength, something profound shifts. You start to walk with a different confidence. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop seeking approval, and as a result, you begin to earn the respect of those around you. People are drawn to those who are sure of themselves, to those who are secure in who they are, because such individuals do not depend on the whims and moods of others to dictate their value. We must understand that it's not the accolades or external recognition that determine our worth, but our actions. It's how we treat others, how we hold ourselves to a higher standard, how we continue to push ourselves toward personal growth, even when the world around us seems static. It's in the moments when no one is watching, when there's no applause, no audience, but we still push ourselves forward. This is where true strength is built through quiet consistency and internal alignment with our values. The world may not always understand or appreciate what you are doing, but that's not the point. The point is that you are living according to your own principles, according to what you know to be right for you. When you align yourself with your own integrity, it creates an invisible force that others feel. This is what leads to respect. The pursuit of self-worth is not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. It's about showing up every day as yourself, without pretense, without trying to fit into someone else's mold. Authenticity is magnetic because it is rare. The vast majority of people hide behind masks, pretending to be something they are not, because they fear judgment, they fear rejection. But when you stop hiding, when you stop pretending, when you start showing up as the real, unpolished version of yourself, that's when people begin to respect you. They respect you because they recognize that it takes courage to be real in a world that encourages everyone to conform. It's easy to hide behind a facade, but it's only when you are authentic that you begin to unlock the potential within you, and when others see that, they can't help but notice. This is why it is so important to recognize that self-worth is not a destination. It's a process. It's something you build day by day, choice by choice. It's about making decisions based on your own values, not based on what other people think. It's about saying no when something doesn't serve you, even if that means disappointing others. It's about protecting your time and energy, because you understand that you cannot give from an empty cup. Too many people allow others to drain them, to take more than they are willing to give, all because they think their worth is tied to pleasing others. But real strength comes from recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. You must fill yourself first, and when you do, everything you give will come from a place of abundance. The more you embody this principle of self-worth, the more you will find that your life begins to reflect this energy. The people you attract into your life will change. You will no longer attract individuals who drain you, who undermine your confidence, who expect you to give more than you have. Instead, you will begin to attract people who are on the same journey as you, people who respect you for who you are, people who lift you up rather than bring you down. And this is key because the people we surround ourselves with greatly influence how we see ourselves. If we surround ourselves with individuals who do not respect us, who do not see our value, then we will start to question our own worth. But when we surround ourselves with individuals who are strong, who are authentic, and who respect themselves, we naturally begin to see the reflection of our own strength. The truth is that we are all worthy of respect, but it's up to us to claim that respect. We cannot wait for the world to tell us that we are worthy. We must affirm it for ourselves. And when we do, the world begins to respond. People will begin to respect you not because of what you do for them, but because of who you are. You will stop being someone who seeks approval and start being someone who naturally attracts respect. You will be someone who is grounded in their own worth, unshaken by the opinions of others. That is the power of self-worth. And that is the power that comes when you stop seeking validation from the outside and start cultivating it from within. In life, there are moments when we must face the overwhelming weight of our circumstances, when the road ahead appears unclear and the future uncertain. In these moments, it's easy to feel lost, to feel as though we are being buried by the weight of our responsibilities and our doubts. But this is the paradox of life. It is precisely in the moments of greatest hardship that we have the potential to discover who we truly are. When you are at your lowest, you are not simply being tested, you are being forged. You are being shaped by the challenges you face, and in this crucible of life, the man or woman you are destined to become is revealed. There is no growth without difficulty, no strength without struggle. And if you can learn to embrace this reality, to see your obstacles not as barriers but as opportunities for transformation, you will emerge stronger, more resilient, and more capable than you could ever have imagined. You see, our culture often sells us the idea that life should be easy, that we should avoid discomfort, that happiness is something that can be achieved by seeking comfort and instant gratification. But this is a lie. The truth is that meaningful growth happens when we lean into discomfort, when we face the challenges that lie ahead with courage and determination. It's in those moments when we feel the most vulnerable, the most exposed, that we have the greatest potential for transformation. Life will challenge you, it will test you, and it will try to break you. But if you are willing to stand firm, to face those challenges head on, you will come to realize that those very struggles are the ones that will shape you into the person you are meant to be. And yet, despite this truth, we often find ourselves avoiding discomfort, running away from difficulty. We turn to distractions, to substances, to mindless entertainment, in an attempt to numb the pain, to escape the discomfort. But what we fail to understand is that by avoiding our challenges, by turning away from the very things that could help us grow, we are preventing ourselves from becoming who we are meant to be. Growth does not come from avoiding hardship, it comes from embracing it. It comes from confronting your fears, from facing your failures, from standing up when the world tells you to lie down. It is only when we rise to the occasion, when we refuse to back down in the face of adversity, that we begin to develop the strength, the courage, and the character necessary to thrive. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is your mindset. How you perceive your circumstances, how you interpret your struggles will determine the course of your life. You can choose to see obstacles as insurmountable walls, or you can choose to see them as opportunities for growth. You can choose to see failure as a reflection of your inadequacy, or you can choose to see it as a stepping stone on the path to mastery. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world, and by shifting your perspective, you can transform your experience of life. The key is not to avoid hardship, but to develop the resilience to endure it. When you change the way you look at your challenges, you begin to change your relationship with them. Instead of running from difficulty, you learn to embrace it as a necessary part of your journey. But even with the right mindset, life will still present you with moments of doubt, moments when you feel like giving up, moments when you wonder if all of the effort is worth it. This is where persistence comes in. You see, success is not about avoiding failure. It is about persisting in the face of it. It's about getting back up when you've been knocked down, about continuing to move forward even when you feel like quitting. Persistence is the key to turning your dreams into reality. It is the ability to keep going, even when the path is uncertain, even when the odds are stacked against you. It is the determination to keep pressing forward, one step at a time, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. When you develop the habit of persistence, you develop the ability to overcome anything life throws your way. In the process of growth, there will be moments of isolation, moments when you feel like no one understands what you're going through. There will be times when you doubt yourself, when you wonder if your efforts are in vain. But during these moments, it's crucial to remember that you are not alone. You may feel isolated, but the truth is that everyone experiences hardship. Every person you meet has faced their own struggles, their own moments of doubt. It's part of the human experience. And while it's easy to feel like we are the only ones carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, the reality is that we are all in this together. We are all walking our own paths, but we are all facing the same fundamental challenges to overcome the obstacles life places in front of us, how to build strength in the face of adversity, how to grow and evolve into the person we are meant to be. This is the beauty of the human spirit. No matter how difficult life becomes, we always have the potential to rise above it. We always have the ability to adapt, to learn, to grow. But this requires one thing: courage. It requires the courage to face your fears, to confront your limitations, to stand tall in the face of adversity. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of fear. It is the strength to keep moving forward even when you are unsure of the outcome. And it is in this courage that you will find your true power. When you can stand firm, When you can face your challenges with unshakable resolve, you will discover that you are capable of far more than you ever believed possible. So, don't shy away from the hardships that come your way. Don't be afraid of the challenges that lie ahead. Instead, embrace them as opportunities for growth. Understand that the difficulties you face today are shaping you into the person you need to become. And when you begin to see your struggles as stepping stones to a stronger, more resilient you, you will unlock the potential within you to achieve greatness. The road may be long and the path may be hard, but with persistence, courage, and the right mindset, you will not only survive, you will thrive. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must ask themselves the tough question, am I living up to my potential? It's easy to get distracted by the noise of the world, by the distractions that seem to offer comfort and relief, but it's also the case that we cannot avoid confronting this fundamental question. And make no mistake, this is not just a question you ask yourself when things are easy, when life feels like it's going according to plan. It's the question you ask yourself when things get hard, when you feel lost, when you feel like you're not making any progress. It's easy to doubt yourself in those moments. But if you've been through struggles, if you've had your share of setbacks, you'll know that it's precisely in those moments of hardship that the potential for greatness lies dormant, waiting to be unlocked. The world constantly tells us that we need to be happy all the time, that we need to live stress-free, pain-free, worry-free lives. And yet, it's through adversity that we are shaped. If you look at history, if you look at the greatest minds, the greatest achievers, you'll see a common thread. They didn't avoid the hard things. They leaned into them, and in doing so, they became stronger, more capable, and ultimately more successful. It's easy to look at someone who's accomplished great things and think that they were just born lucky, that they had an easy life. But if you dig deeper, you'll find that they didn't shy away from the difficult, from the uncomfortable. They faced it head on, and in doing so, they cultivated the strength and resolve that ultimately led them to success. This isn't to say that suffering is something we should seek out, that we should deliberately put ourselves through unnecessary pain. What I am saying is that hardship is inevitable. Life is not always kind. It's unpredictable, and it can be brutal. The truth is, we have little control over the things that happen to us, but we have full control over how we respond. Our response to adversity is what determines whether we grow or whether we shrink. The key is to take responsibility, to recognize that no matter what life throws at you, you can choose how to face it. You can choose to see it as a barrier, as something that's holding you back, or you can choose to see it as an opportunity to rise above, to grow, to become the person you are meant to be. Too many people fall victim to their circumstances. They make excuses, they blame others, they sit in their misery, waiting for life to get better. But life doesn't work that way. Waiting for things to improve doesn't make them better. You must take action. You must confront the uncomfortable and face it with resolve. This is what separates those who merely exist from those who thrive. To thrive, you must take control of your life, of your choices, and of your responses to the world. You cannot let your circumstances define you. You must define them. And in doing so, you not only change your own life, but you change the world around you. What does this look like in practice? It means setting boundaries even when it's hard. It means saying no to distractions and choosing to focus on what truly matters. It means being disciplined, even when it feels easier to give in to temptation. It means committing to your goals, even when the path ahead seems daunting. It means putting in the work, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It means not allowing your circumstances to dictate your self-worth or your future. You are not defined by your failures, but by how you respond to them. It's through this response, through your willingness to rise after every fall, that you build resilience. It's through this process that you grow stronger, more capable, and more confident. I think one of the most powerful things we can do is to stop playing the victim. to stop seeing ourselves as helpless. Life is tough, and things are not always fair, but that doesn't mean we are powerless. We all have the ability to take control, to make choices, and to act, and it's through our actions, through our decisions, that we begin to shape the future. You cannot wait for life to improve, for the world to change around you. You must be the change. It's easy to sit back and complain about the state of the world, about how things aren't fair, how life hasn't been kind to you, but that's not going to get you anywhere. The real question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with the hand you've been dealt? You can either let life break you, or you can use it as an opportunity to build yourself into someone stronger. It's not about avoiding failure or hardship. It's about learning to embrace them, to grow through them. And when you can do that, when you can learn to face adversity with strength and resilience, you will find that the very things that once held you back will be the things that propel you forward. It's through your struggle that you discover your strength. It's through the hard moments that you uncover the depth of your character. And when you realize this, when you embrace this truth, you will no longer be afraid of life's challenges. Instead, you will welcome them, knowing that they are the stepping stones to your success, your growth, and your ultimate transformation. So, take responsibility for your life. Don't let your circumstances control you. Embrace the challenges you face, knowing that they are the key to becoming the person you are meant to be. And when you do, you will find that nothing can stand in your way. You will no longer be defined by your struggles, but by the strength with which you face them. And it is this strength, this resilience, that will ultimately lead you to greatness. There is something deeply human about the way we search for meaning in life, often grasping at the idea that external circumstances hold the power to shape our destinies. But the truth is far more profound and far more difficult to swallow. We are the architects of our own lives. And what we construct within ourselves in terms of character, beliefs, and actions is what defines us in the end. There is no magic formula, no single act that will change everything. The real work begins with the acknowledgement that what happens inside you, your internal landscape, has a far greater effect on your future than any external factor ever could. It is easy to fall into the trap of blaming external forces for the state of your life. You can blame society, your upbringing, your family, your job, or your circumstances. But it's a fool's game. There are always factors outside of your control, factors that are out of your reach. But the one thing that is within your control, the thing that defines the trajectory of your life, is how you choose to respond. We often make the mistake of thinking that life's challenges and difficulties are a sign of weakness, something that indicates that we are off course. But the opposite is true. It is only through confronting and grappling with challenges that we learn to grow. Struggle, though uncomfortable and painful, is the breeding ground for strength, resilience, and the capacity for greatness. If you never allow yourself to face difficulty head-on, you will never know what you are truly capable of. What does it mean to be strong? It doesn't mean to avoid struggle. It doesn't mean that you become impervious to pain or hardship. No, strength comes from the ability to endure, to move forward in spite of those things. Strength means being able to hold your ground when life tries to knock you down, when your fears and insecurities try to push you into a corner. It means being able to face yourself in the mirror, knowing that you have done everything you can to move forward, even when the road ahead seems impossible. Strength is not about perfection or avoiding failure. It's about the courage to continue even when it feels like everything is against you. It's about doing what needs to be done, whether or not the path is easy or clear. When you face difficulty, when you face opposition, it can be easy to question your worth, to doubt your abilities, to give in to despair. But this is where the real work is done. This is where you separate the ones who endure from the ones who collapse. If you are constantly running away from discomfort, constantly seeking to avoid pain, you are selling yourself short. You are denying the possibility for growth. You are weakening yourself. It's in these moments of challenge that you truly learn who you are. It's in these moments that you find out what you're made of. And that's a process that never truly stops. Life isn't static. It's constantly in flux, constantly demanding more from you. It will throw challenges your way, and it will keep testing your resolve. But in the same breath, it is these tests that will allow you to grow and evolve into something greater. There's a common misconception that the key to success, to happiness, is to avoid challenges, to somehow attain a perfect life where nothing goes wrong. But that's not life, that's not reality. The truth is, life will never be free of obstacles. You can't avoid hardship. But what you can do is choose how you approach it. You can choose to face your problems with courage, with grit, with determination. You can choose to take responsibility for your life, regardless of the circumstances. And you can choose to act in alignment with your deepest values and aspirations. This is what builds the person you're meant to become. The strength you build through facing adversity isn't just a matter of physical endurance. It's the strength of your mind, your character, and your spirit. It's the strength of your ability to persevere, to refuse to give in, to keep going when others would have thrown in the towel. It's about the refusal to let your circumstances define you. It's about taking responsibility for yourself and your life. You cannot afford to be passive in the face of adversity. You cannot allow yourself to be swept away by the current of life. You have to take the reins, steer your course, and navigate through the storm. And while it's true that the path may not always be clear, and the road ahead may often feel lonely and uncertain, there is immense power in your willingness to keep moving forward no matter what. As human beings, we are wired to seek comfort. It's a natural instinct to want to avoid pain, to seek relief, to avoid anything that might cause discomfort. But if you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you have to train yourself to embrace the discomfort. You have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Whether you're trying to achieve a personal goal, develop a new skill, or create a lasting impact in the world, you must recognize that there is no shortcut. There is no easy path. There is only the willingness to show up every day, to put in the work, and to endure the pain and the uncertainty that comes with it. The beauty of life lies in the struggle, not in the avoidance of it. If you want to know what you're truly capable of, then you must confront your challenges. You must stop hiding from the difficult and the uncomfortable. It's in the fire that metal is forged. It's in the storm that ships are tested. And it's in the struggle that you become the person you were always meant to be. There comes a moment in every man's life when he must confront the inevitable truth that things will not go according to plan. You will encounter obstacles, face setbacks, and experience failures that will make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. And in that moment, you must decide, will you break or will you rise? Will you fold under the weight of life's difficulties? Or will you stand tall, refusing to be crushed by the circumstances that seek to define you? The strength to rise, to persevere, comes not from avoiding pain, but from learning to face it head on. It's often easy to believe that success is a linear journey, that there is a clear path to follow, a simple formula that guarantees achievement. But the reality is far more complicated. Success is not about finding an easy road. It's about having the courage to keep moving forward even when the road is unclear and filled with obstacles. Life demands that you become stronger, tougher, and more resilient. And that strength does not come from avoiding challenges. It comes from engaging with them, from confronting your deepest fears and weaknesses, and from choosing to continue on, regardless of the difficulties that may arise. You see, the moment you face adversity, the moment you face those parts of yourself that you wish weren't there, that's when real growth begins. The discomfort, the uncertainty, the pain, it all serves a purpose. It is forging you into something stronger, something more capable of handling the complexities of life. The man who seeks to avoid all struggle, who refuses to confront his fears, will never grow. He will remain stagnant, trapped by his own unwillingness to engage with the challenges of life. But the man who leans into the discomfort, who faces his fears and weaknesses with open eyes, that is the man who will emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable of achieving greatness. In many ways, we all carry within us a narrative of who we think we are and what we think we can accomplish. But that narrative is constantly challenged by the events and experiences that unfold around us. When faced with adversity, you must decide whether you will continue to play the part you've assigned to yourself or whether you will rewrite that narrative. It's not easy. It requires courage, conviction, and the willingness to change, to evolve. But in doing so, you begin to redefine what it means to be a manto, step into your own power, and face the world as someone who is capable of overcoming anything that stands in his way. Resilience is not a natural trait. It's a skill that is developed over time through repeated encounters with hardship. It is born from the willingness to endure, to rise after every fall, to learn from failure and grow stronger from it. And it's a skill that you must actively cultivate. You can't sit back and wait for life to give you a break. You can't hope that the difficulties you face will simply go away. You must lean into them, confront them, and rise above them. That's what makes you resilient. It's not about being invincible. It's about refusing to be defeated. The pain you experience in life is not pointless. It's not something to be feared or avoided. It is part of your growth, part of the process that makes you who you are. If you are never forced to confront your weaknesses, you will never know the strength that lies beyond them. If you are never put to the test, you will never truly discover what you are capable of. You will remain in the safety of your comfort zone, unable to reach your full potential. It is only by stepping outside of that zone, by willingly facing the discomfort and uncertainty of life, that you become the person you are meant to be. In order to grow, you